just put his name out there. The truth is all I want.
After years of anguish and pain comes a passionate plea aimed straight at Cardinal Daniel DiNardo, the leader of Catholic America.
Just say I'm not a liar. It was real, it happened, and he was the one that did it. He did do it.
He, accusers say, is Father Lawrence Peguero, a priest at Our Lady of St. John in the 60s and 70s who would often stop by their home for breakfast.
Your mother's cooking the priest a meal in the kitchen.
Yes, and there's a curtain in between that's closed.
On the other side of that curtain, Monica Dianabaya says, is where the priest raped her for years.
I would struggle and fight, but he's praying out loud. So my mother is hearing the praying out loud.
Her older sister, Elodia Flores,
He was my monster.
remembers it happened weekly.
He would get me, put me on his lap. Oh, let's ride the horse, you know. And the whole time he was just dripping with sweat.
And along with the sexual abuse, they say, would come threats if they ever told mom or dad.
I could kill your mother or your father. Do you ever want to see them again?
The same thing, I'm gonna kill him. I'm gonna kill your baby sisters. I mean, it was, what are you supposed to do?
Monica would pray, but not the Lord's Prayer.
I would beg God to let me die. Please let me die, because I don't want him to do this to me anymore.
Both sisters buried the abuse for years. After Father Peguero died in 2000, their other siblings said the priest abused them too. In 2008, the family went to the Archdiocese to sit down with Cardinal DiNardo. They were hoping for an apology.
Instead, he walked in, put his hand out, wanted us to kiss his ring, which I refused. I told him no.
Cardinal DiNardo wanted you to kiss his ring.
His ring, yes.
They say as they poured their hearts out to the Cardinal,
All he did was say, I've never heard of that. He was never in trouble for anything like that.
through a spokesperson, Cardinal DiNardo says he absolutely did not require or suggest that his ring be kissed, adding that he recalls apologizing no fewer than 3 times.
If Cardinal DiNardo says, I did apologize to that family.
No, you did not. Not even a, I'm sorry this happened to y'all, or I'm sorry to hear that that happened to y'all. Nothing. It was humiliating. That's really what it was. It was very humiliating.
As for the family's sexual abuse claims, it sued the Archdiocese in 2010 and ultimately settled the case out of court.
There's no price that they could ever give anyone for what they took away from you. Your innocence, your childhood. I mean, they took your soul.
They can only hope now that the church will finally acknowledge publicly that their childhood parish priest is on the forthcoming list of clergy credibly accused.
I want his name to be on there. I want the truth be known. What was done in darkness come to light. That's all I want.
I'm going to get to the bottom of this. And I'm not just going to do it in this case. I'm going to do it in all the cases. I'm going to find out what is really going on with this crisis across the United States.
To understand her crusade against the sex abuse crisis, you have to rewind time, more than 20 years ago in a Dallas courtroom where Sylvia Demarest sued the Catholic Church and won.
There were 11 boys that filed the litigation against Rudy Koss.
Father Rudy Koss groomed his victims the way so many sex abusers do.
He paid attention to them. He gave them presents. He showed them pornography. He allowed them to use drugs and alcohol.
He raped countless boys, all while the diocese ignored the red flags.
The diocese knew that he was constantly in the presence of boys. They knew that he had overnight visitors constantly in the rectory. They knew all of this.
Did the negligence, if any, of the Diocese of Dallas...
After a grueling 11-week trial, the jury found the diocese engaged in a conspiracy to cover up Father Koss's sexual abuse.
Unanimous verdict by the jury.
It returned a record $119 million verdict against the church.
My comment on this was, I hope this wakes up the Pope.
I hope this wakes up the Pope.
I didn't say much else. I wanted those words to mean something.
But there was something else this determined litigator wanted too.
Nobody had looked into the overall picture, the overall structure, the overall history of this. No one was doing it.
You did?
The fickle finger of fate kind of pointed at me.
So Demarest and a colleague spent years gathering information on every accused priest at every diocese across the country.
We were relentless.
2,600 names at the time.
We had over 100 boxes.
That she handed over to the advocacy group bishopaccountability.org, which tracks accused and convicted priests. The online list is now twice as long.
Once I understood that there was a problem, doing my job included putting together this database, just out of respect for my clients, if nothing else. There's nothing else that exists anywhere in the world that is anything like it.
But despite all that, she does not claim victory in her crusade.
I really didn't accomplish what I set out to accomplish. I wanted to solve the problem, and its problem isn't solved, as you well know, given what's going on in Houston right now.
But the recent search and seizure of sex abuse files from the Archdiocese of Galveston-Houston gives her hope.
Police have all those files. That's unprecedented, unheard of. Something has changed. I think maybe we have reached a point where the public is no longer willing to tolerate this kind of obstruction. And until the civil and criminal authorities enforce that accountability, perhaps through criminal prosecution, this situation will probably not ever change.